Hello everybody, got a bit of a different video for you today because I wanted to talk about one of my favourite drinks because the main reason I wanted to talk about it is because first of all it's very shrouded in myth, controversy and infamy because it is absinthe, the green fairy. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that. But also, the reason why I want to talk about it, bringing it back to the channel, is because it's depicted in movies, and most of the time it's depicted wrong. The most obvious example I can give you is it was featured in From Hell, which is a video I've reviewed. You're welcome to go watch that. I'll wait. Anyway, but yeah, and I couldn't talk about it in the video because, at least not to any sort of extent, is because it detracted from the actual review. Because in the film, there's no reason for it to be there. So there was no reason for me to talk about it. Not the best decision, really. But these sort of things will come up now and again in films. And this video is basically a way for me to talk about that aspect that really does annoy me without detracting from the actual review. So that's why I'm doing it, is because it allows me to bypass any kind of issues when I'm talking about a movie. So, in From Hell, and you can watch this clip on YouTube actually. Johnny Depp is in the bath, as he tends to be, and he prepares his absinthe by, he has a glass, and on top he has this, which is an absinthe spoon, a slotted spoon specifically for absinthe. And on top of that was a lump of sugar. Now in the film, he drips absinthe through the sugar into the glass and then sets fire to the sugar. Allows the whole thing to run out of any kind of flame, dumps the sugar in the absinthe and then drinks it straight. No semblance of water being used, which is just disgusting on so many levels. But yeah, that was basically the way he did it, and it's just wrong. Every aspect of it, completely wrong. Okay, let's talk about the most obvious one first, the absinthe spoon. The absinthe spoon to hold the sugar, that you drip water through the sugar into the absinthe with water rather. Absinthe spoon, you don't need it at all, because back in the day, 17th century or whatever, there was a lot of shit absinthe going around, okay? Which was made of inferior alcohols, just shit alcohols, like pure alcohols, and it was just horrible. And also, the distillation was terrible. It was a bad distillation, so obviously it came out far too bitter, far too nasty. And of course, I'll get into this in a second, but a lot of absinthe at the time used copper sulfate, which is quite poisonous. So they used sugar to mask the taste of shitty absinthe. That was the point. So if you're drinking a good absinthe, you don't need sugar. If you need sugar to drink your absinthe, you shouldn't be drinking that absinthe, okay? Because it's a bad absinthe. Simple as that. Sugar would just ruin the taste. You don't need it sweetened. And another reason why I'm doing this video is because I saw a video on YouTube. Oh, fuck me. I'm not going to name names because this is not a drama bullshit channel. Where I saw someone prepare absinthe the proper way using 5 cubes of sugar. What the fuck is wrong with you? That was just disgusting on so many levels. 5 cubes. Oh, anyway. So yeah, you don't need sugar. That's basically the point. Okay, you don't need sugar. You don't need the spoon. All you need is water, and I'll show you now. I use one of these, which is an absinthe fountain. You put ice water in here, and obviously you undo the taps, and it drips slowly into the glass. It's glorious, it's slow, it's something you can watch and anticipate. It's great. You don't need anything else, simple as that. So, next part. I briefly mentioned this about the copper sulfate. If I can bring up I have 2 bottles here. One is of one of the more widely known bottles of absinthe, which is Pernod. And as you'll see, it has the word absinthe on it. I'm looking through the camera's screen. But it doesn't specifically say it's an absinthe. It says it's Pernod. And it says extracts of plants from absinthe. I just got interrupted by a cold caller, so I've lost my train of thought. But yes, I think I was talking about the colour. Like I said, I have Pernod here. This is technically not absinthe. Technically. Well, first of all, you'll notice the colour. It's in a slightly greenish bottle, so it's not that easy to see, but it's still green, right? Now, like I said, with Pernod, they have improved the recipe and they've gone back to the original French recipe. So this is not the case anymore, but for this bottle specifically, which you can see I've been drinking for a long time, but for this bottle specifically, this green is a fake bullshit green. It's dye. That's all it is. It's a dye, which means it's not really anything. The whole point of the green, the green comes from the second infusion of herbs. So if they dye it, then fuck knows what's in there, really. So that, not really worth it. And if I can show you, I have another bottle here, which is Absinthe. Absinthe. Can you actually see that? I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, this is Absinthe. Again, I can't get truly good absinthe because it's fucking expensive, but this will do for example purposes. I'll just show you what this looks like. Now, if you look at this, it's kind of a almost autumnal leaf colour. You know, it's not green, but you can still tell it was green at one point. This is a good colour. This is a pretty authentic colour. From what I know, I could be talking bullshit, but this is pretty authentic. So, and if they are going to be honest about the colour, they're going to be honest about the other stuff that's in there. So if you see an absinthe that's like The Simpsons, reactor coolant green, it's bollocks. Don't even touch it. It's just garbage. Because it's just bollocks. It's just a complete lie. The second thing you have to watch out for with absinthe. The reason why it's called absinthe, it's derived from the plant Artemisia absinthium, otherwise known as wormwood. Now, some absinthes like to claim they've removed the wormwood because wormwood is dangerous. It's not. I'll get into that later. But if you remove the wormwood, then it's no longer absinthe. It's just a shitty aniseed liqueur. So yeah, if it doesn't have wormwood, it's not absinthe because the word absinthe comes from wormwood. Simple as that. And there are a few. Like, for example, this. This is the European version of Absinthe, but you can get an American version of Absinthe without the wormwood. Why would you bother? Just don't bother. You know, so you got to make sure. And that's kind of why absinthe is difficult to obtain, because it's very difficult to find a good one and an authentic one. Now, on the subject of wormwood, as I said, people like to think it's dangerous or it's hallucinogenic or toxic. Now, maybe if you ate it raw, but the way it's distilled, you get about 10 milligrams of wormwood in a bottle. There's just not enough of it. The active ingredient in wormwood is called thujone, and that's the one that causes, you know, hallucinations and all that nonsense. It doesn't. Thujone is classed as a convulsant. So, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of glad absinthe doesn't make me convulse, you know, and if you really want to hallucinate, there are fabulous ways to do that elsewhere. You don't need absinthe for that. So, yeah, it's just, no, it's not dangerous. It's not even illegal. You can buy wormwood at any plant store, and people will say it's fantastic for your garden and all this stuff. Wormwood is not dangerous. Now, I know there are going to be some people out there already typing in the comments, but the 17th century version of absinthe, oh, that had massive amounts of wormwood. It had horrible amounts of wormwood. That's what caused all the hallucinations and stuff. No, it didn't. A distiller by the name of Ted Brough, he did a lot of research in this area. He took pre-ban absinthes and did a lot of analysis of these absinthes. to find out what was in them. And he found that, on average, these absinthes had about 10 parts per million of louching, which is identical almost to some of the absinthes you can find today. It's just a fallacy, an absolute fallacy. It's just not true that it made you convulse. Maybe it was because of the copper sulfate, which what gave it the artificial green colour. Maybe it was because of the high amounts of alcohol. Maybe those are the reasons why it was dangerous at the time. Because people weren't preparing it correctly, people weren't distilling it correctly, who knows? But it's not because of its very makeup it will make you hallucinate. Just no, it's bollocks. This is another one of my theories, and we all know how great those are. One of my theories, and I may have read this somewhere, so it's probably not my theory, but the reason why absinthe grew in popularity in France is because there was a blight on the grapes. So they couldn't make wine for a considerable amount of time. I can't remember the actual history. I'm just giving you a brief abridged. But yeah, they couldn't make wine. So people moved on to absinthe. Because it's all root vegetables. It's all plants that can survive a much harsher environment. So it would make sense they would move on to it. And it became ungodly popular, as it did. So when the blight was over and wine came back, the wineries were like, people aren't coming back to pay for our wine anymore. Maybe we should think of a way to smear absinthe and say, we'll say it makes you go crazy. And that, on top of the temperance movement at the time, which was trying to ban all alcohol, they just latched onto it. It was just a massive smear campaign by the temperance movement and the wine industry. But it's just not true. And that's what happened. And of course, the temperance movement itself moved to America, where you had it banned till 2002, which is fucking ridiculous. So yeah, that's what made it so infamous. Now, when it comes to how can you tell whether an absinthe is good or not, I mean, you can't really tell if it's good, because, I'm not a connoisseur, many people aren't connoisseurs, it doesn't matter. It's not about whether it's good or not, but whether it's a proper absinthe, that matters. Now, absinthe itself is, the way you prepare it properly is you put your absinthe in your glass, like such, like as this. Like this, it's a nice colour. You put it underneath your absinthe fountain, and then you start to drip water through it. You start to drip water into your glass, however speed you like. Depending on whether you want to watch it slowly or quickly, that's completely up to you. But that's what you do. And as you do, it starts to get cloudy. It starts to, as the French say, louche. Which is the French for, I think, shady or something like that. Doesn't matter. But absinthe louches. It goes cloudy. It kind of goes milky colour. And it does this because in absinthe, there are essential oils that are soluble at certain alcohol levels. Now, as you add water, let me just turn this off. Okay. As you add water, obviously you bring that alcohol content down. And by doing that, obviously you bring that alcohol content down. Now, as you do that, the essential oils become less soluble and they start showing up in tiny little droplets in the liquid. And that's when you get this absolutely beautiful looking liquid. And it's completely opaque. You can't see through it at all. It's absolutely beautiful, in my opinion. It's like this milky, almost, creamy colour. And obviously when you drip water through it, you release all the essential oils and you get all these different aromas. And you massively improve the smell, the taste, and the mouthfeel. So once it's like this, you have all these aromas coming up from it. And you can smell it from here. And with this one specifically, this is the Absinthe. There's a lot of mint in this one, but I'm not here to review it. I'm just here to look incredibly pretentious, as I do. And one second. I gotta take a drink. It's a fucking video about absinthe. I gotta drink it at least a little bit. So yeah, and you spread it around your palate, and you get that all those flavors. And it's glorious. And it starts to make your tongue go slightly numb, your gums go slightly numb, and it just feels so. It feels warm because of the alcohol, but it also feels quite cooling because of all the other parts of it. And it's a very unique experience. It's very good. Now, when it louches, when it goes that sort of pearlescent color, you'll see the transition, and the transition is quite beautiful. And because as the water drips into it, the clouds start swirling around at the bottom, and it slowly rises to the top. And obviously, when the louches reach the top, that's traditionally when you drink your absinthe. That louche itself, that was probably one of the main appeals for, artists like Picasso, like Van Gogh or Van Gogh, because I am that pretentious. Because they liked watching it. That was the appeal of absinthe. It was this ritual of watching it, and slowly it becomes something. It's the same reason why someone would drink a Guinness today. It's like watching it slowly settle down and become something. It's glorious. Now, however, at the time, a lot of absinthes weren't absinthe at all. They were, for lack of a better word, shit. They were vodka mixed with a few flavourings and green dye and passed off as absinthe. And so when you do that, because it's just vodka, it doesn't louche. It doesn't do this thing because there's no essential oils in it. So they had to do something else to appeal to the punters. So that's where the fire ritual would come into it. The fire basically distracted from the fact that you're drinking shit. It's not absinthe. It's not absinthe that you're drinking. So that's what the fire was for. The fire and the sugar, they were to mask bad alcohol. Simple as that. And if you look at, paintings, sculptures, poetry, anything like that referring to absinthe, none of them will refer to the fire aspect because it is a very recent invention, well after the ban. So, the fire doesn't need it. So, in conclusion of this bizarre video, all you need is a glass, absinthe, and water. You don't even need an absinthe fountain. Absinthe fountain is nice because it does it very slowly. But you can just use a jug of water. I used to do that all the time. It was great. And that's basically my video on absinthe. It's a glorious drink. I love the drink. It doesn't taste of licorice. Stop saying it tastes like licorice. It doesn't fucking taste like licorice. If it tastes like licorice, you're drinking shit again. Stop drinking shit. Go back to normal. It tastes like aniseed. It tastes like fennel. Those are very different flavours. If you can't tell the difference, your palate is fucked. But that's a whole other fucking thing for another time. Basically, no sugar, no fire, just need water, just need that. And this video will hopefully serve as some kind of reference point for any movie I look at which uses absinthe incorrectly. Because let's be honest, it's almost inevitable that a movie will do something incorrect because movies are shit like that for the most part. Still good. It's very nice. But again, I'm not reviewing absinthe. This is just a video about absinthe. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do let me know. And maybe you're looking to do something else. And if you really want me to, I'll be getting a few different absinthes in the next few weeks that will be quite interesting to look at. So if you want me to look at those, I can. This is not a drinks review channel, but it's something to do on extra. So if you did like this video, please subscribe. It really does help a lot. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye.